Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 3. Today we will discuss about environmental aspects of electric power generation. This is my third lecture on the subject Power System 3. So let's start. Electricity. So, some common questions come into our mind. How do we make electricity? How does it affect our environment? Now, there are several forms of energy that can be converted to electrical energy. Conversion of one form of energy or another to electrical form has unwanted side effects, and the pollutants generated in the process have to be disposed of. Pollutants know no geographical boundary. As a result, the pollution issue has become a nightmarish problem, and strong national and international pressure groups have sprung up and are having a definite impact on the development of energy resources. Now, governmental awareness has created increasing legislation and national and international levels. Now, here is a list of power sources that create pollution abundantly: fossil fuel, nuclear, water, including hydroelectric power and tidal power, and geothermal. So, first one is fossil fuel. The fossil fuel based generating plants form the backbone of power generation in our country and also around the globe, as the other options like nuclear or even hydro have even stronger hazards associated with them. Now, fossil fuel such as coal or natural gas are burnt, and there is a release of energy that need to be stored and transported. In case of coal, the energy obtained from burning it drives a steam turbine generator, you all know that, while the energy obtained from burning natural gas drives a combustion turbine. Now, these power stations, the first one is known as coal fire power station and second one is natural gas fire station. You have idea about these two types of power station. Now, each of these station produce tons and tons of greenhouse gases. Okay, and that creates the pollution, increase the atmospheric atmospheric temperature. Okay, there is a soot or black carbon. Now, soot is the carbon particles produced from incomplete combustion of hydrocarbons. The black smoke that comes out of a car contains this soot. It causes the global warming. Unlike other aerosols, particulate matter, black carbon, absorb the sunlight instead of reflecting it back. Okay, so hence the atmospheric temperature also increases with increase in the black carbon. And what about natural gas? When we compared against coal, it is the cleaner one. Okay. This clean or green are nothing but the relative terms. One technology is better, cleaner and greener than the other. And do not forget that natural gas is mainly methane, and methane is far more dangerous greenhouse gas than the carbon dioxide. So, the problematic pollutants in emission of coal-based generating plants are SO2, NOx, oxide of carbon, hydrocarbon, particulates, that means fly ash. Okay, and it needs to be mentioned over here that the Indian coal has a comparatively low sulfur content, but a very high ash content, which is some coal may have as high as 53%. Okay, so these are the pollutants which create the atmospheric pollution. First one, the oxides of sulfur, SO2. Now, most of the sulfur present in the fossil fuel is oxides to SO2. Okay, sulfur dioxide in the combustion chamber before being emitted from the chimney. In atmosphere, it gets further oxidized to H2SO4 and metallic sulfates, which are the major sources of acid rain, impaired visibility, damage to building, damage to vegetation. Now, sulfate concentration of 9 to 10 microgram per meter cube of air aggravate asthma, lung disease and heart disease. So, it may also noted that although sulfur does not accumulate in air, but it does into the soil. So, sulfur, so we are till now discussing about the drawbacks of oxides of sulfur. Now we are going to discuss about the method which control the emission of this sulfur. Now, use of fossil fuel with less than 1% sulfur generally is not a great solution, a feasible solution. Use of chemical reaction to move sulfur in the form of sulfuric acid from the combustion products by limestone scrubbers or by fluidized bed combustion. And another method is remove the sulfur from the coal by gasification or flotation processes. So these are the two methods. First one is use limestone scrubbers or fluidized bed combustion, or by use the gasification or flotation process. So it also been noted that the byproduct sulfur could off the set of the cost of sulfur recovery plant. Now, next one is oxides of nitrogen. Okay, of all the oxides of nitrogen, NO2 nitrogen oxide is the major pollutant. It is soluble in the water, and so it has obviously adverse effect on human health as it enters the lungs on inhaling, and after combining with moisture convert to neutrons and nitric acids, which damage the lung. At level of 25 to 100 parts per million, NOx cause acute bronchitis and pneumonia. These are the adverse effect of oxides of nitrogen. Now we can control it by fitting advanced technology burner which can assure more complete combustion. So thereby we can reduce the oxides from being emitted by the stack. Okay, and these can be removed from the combustion product by absorption process by certain solvents going on to the stack. So these are the drawbacks, and we discuss also about the control procedure. Next one is the oxides of carbon. that means carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is we all know that is very toxic pollutant, and CO2 cause the global warming. But this carbon monoxide is converted into this CO2 in the open atmosphere if available where the plant is situated, and CO2 cause the global warming. Next one is the hydrocarbon. Now during the oxidation process in the combustion chamber, certain lightweight hydrocarbons may be formed, and this compound are a major source of photochemical reaction and depletion the ozone layer. Next one is the particulates or fly ash. I already have mentioned that the dust content in particularly high in the Indian cold. Now particulates come out of the stack in the form of fly ash. It comprises fine particles and carbon, ash and other inert materials. Now in high concentration, this causes the poor visibility and respiratory diseases. Now the concentration of the pollutants can be reduced by dispersal over a wider area by using the high stack, or we use precipitators to remove the particles as the flue gases rises up the stack. If in the stack a vertical wire is strung in the middle and charged to a high negative potential, it emits the electrons. Okay. Now these electrons are captured by the gas molecules and thereby becoming negative ions. Now these ions accelerate towards the walls and gets neutralized on hitting the wall, and the particles drop down the wall. So by this method we can control the amount of fly ash. Okay, there is another method like fabric filter in the form of bag houses also we can use, and these are located before the flue gas entered the stack. Next one is the thermal pollution. Now the water can be polluted by the thermal loading of the thermal power plant. The condensed steam raises the temperature of water of river or sea that threatens the sea and river life. And second one, latent heat of water increase the humidity levels of the surroundings. Now next one is nuclear power plant. It has the potential to solve all our energy problem. At the same time, it also capable of huge destruction. Okay, the main environmental impact of nuclear power consists of construction of the plant, fuel procurement and of the thermal load of the cooling water discharged into the sea during the operation. Now, nuclear based electricity production does not create the carbon dioxide or other any greenhouse gas emission. Now, when reviewing the entire production life cycle, the climate impact of operating nuclear power is similar to that of wind, solar or hydropower. But high level of nuclear safety and radiation safety are the key factors in managing the environmental impacts of the nuclear power. Now, we all know that nuclear accidents are rare, but it can catastrophic. Exposure of the radiation permanently damage DNA and cause cancer. Now, nuclear power may not be as obviously pollutive like coal power plant, but the chemical it releases can contaminate under groundwater, air, and plants, and this pollution. Now, while nuclear energy does not produce the carbon emission directly, but the construction of plant, uranium mining, manufacturing operation of all these kind of operation produce carbon dioxide commission on a huge scale, and this contributes to towards the global warming. Next one, the hydroelectric power and tidal power plant. Now, hydroelectricity can only comes from dams. We all know that. Now, dams means what? Interruption of natural flow of water. So, it disturbs the aquatic system. Now, dams sometimes also trigger the earthquakes. Same tidal power on the other hand has same disturbing effect on the aquatic life. Last one is the geothermal. Now, while extracting heat from underneath of Earth's surface, we also unleash various greenhouse gases, but are relatively far less in quantity than that are emitted from the fossil fuel power plant. Now, hydraulic fracturing is used to extract geothermal energy, so it can trigger the earthquakes. That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.